if you don't have it done. Not going to help her.
She said she did a lot of pages, though.
Oh, my goodness. Yes. I had 2 envelopes full, plus 2 of those file folders full of papers. So she did like everything from third quarter, I think. I don't know where Eric and Andre are. Well, we're gonna start without them. So let's do that. I don't want to wait. I've got stuff to do. What about you guys? Or you guys want extra class? You have work to do too? Okay. What's that? Make sure your brother does his work. He is struggling. Yeah. You have to watch him?
Me?
Juliana, yeah.
He's beside me.
Oh, is he? Can I see him?
No.
Hi, Katie. Glad you look like you just woke up, girl. Your microphone's off for some reason. Where's your brother? Juliana?
He's somewhere downstairs.
Oh, I thought you said he was right there. Sorry. I didn't know that. Katie, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I don't know why your camera's not on. I think our connection here at the church is not working so well right now, so I may have to go reset it just to make sure the internet works okay. Because it's been not allowing some people on for the bigger class for the 5th grade. So, all right, we're ready to do the practice then. Here we go. I don't know where Eric and Andre are, but we'll let them catch up on their own.
And,
all right, letter A is 40 degrees. B is C. C is right angle. D is 45 degrees, and E is 30 degrees. I'm sorry, C, and then F is 5, and G is 5.
I got it, Jack.
Okay. Anybody else?
Did I?
Okay.
I did too.
All 3 of you? Okay. All right. So, Juliana, you are now in the purple. And Brianna, you got another half lesson pass. So, write that out. I'll put it in my stack of passes. What's that?
I'm using a half lesson pass.
All right, so you're just going to use it for today?
Yeah, but you have it.
I know. I'll just tear that up. I'll tear up that one that I just gave you.
Okay.
Or I just won't write it, in other words. All right, so let's look at the lesson then. All right, number 1 is 50 degrees Celsius and 122 degrees Fahrenheit. Number 2 is 120 square feet. Number 3 is 3.13. 4, basically explaining why the last column is not 3.14 every object, because it's just an approximate measurement is why, basically. What do you guys have for answers?
I got my.
Oh, hi, Andre.
I
Glad
know
you
my.
make it to class today.
I know.
Oh, you know, huh?
I got my.
What's that?
Mine's wrong.
Your what's wrong?
So,
Oh, your
no,
answer? Did you
Yeah.
put an answer at all? Or you just don't,
Yeah.
it was something different? It might be right. You'd be surprised. Just go ahead and read it, and I'll see.
Every word multiplied by 10.
Oh, that's definitely wrong. You're right. Okay. How about you, Juliana?
I already
No.
know it's wrong though.
Just tell me.
I'm gonna be embarrassed though.
Go ahead, be embarrassed. Everybody will laugh at you.
I hope not though.
I
I
don't think
know
they'll laugh at you.
because it's a small cup.
Go ahead, I'm listening.
Because it's a small cup.
Oh, because it's a small cup?
Yeah.
Okay, I understand that why you wouldn't want to read that. Okay, Katie, how about yours?
For the practice?
No, we're on number 4 now, ma'am.
Oh,
Oops.
Talk about embarrassing.
Um,
What's that?
what was the question?
What did you write for number 4 on the lesson? On lesson 107, number 4, what did you put for the answer?
I didn't really understand that one.
Okay. How about you, Brianna?
I put because the answer is right.
Because the answer is right?
Yeah.
I'll give you half on that. I think I know what you're thinking. Oh, Eric, you're here. Welcome. Excited to come today, huh?
Yeah,
Did you do your practice, Eric?
yeah.
Did you,
Downstairs.
Andre?
Yeah.
Okay. You guys will have to go back and check and tell me if you get a check mark or not, all right?
Mhm.
All right, here we go. Number 5 is 8 boys. Number 6, you should have for the top 2 times 3 times 3 times 3, and then bottom 2 times 2 times 3 times 7, and then the answer is 9/14. All right, number 7 is circle. Number 8 is 5. 9A is 0.375. B is 37.5%. 10A is 3/50, and B is 6%. 11A is 1 2/5, and B is 1.4. 12 is 1 1/4. 13 is 12. 14 is 3.32, and 15 is $1.50. I'll go and do 1, 2, and 3 for Eric and Andre since you weren't here for that part. Number 1 is 50 degrees Celsius, 122 degrees Fahrenheit. Number 2 is 120 square feet, and number 3 is 3.13.
Which one are these?
What's that?
Which ones are these?
Lesson 107. That was
Like
1,
what?
2, and 3 that you missed because you came in late.
No, I heard them because I was getting my math book, but I heard the answer.
Okay. So what's your question then?
Nothing. And I have
Could
to
they-
tell you, I'm using
You have to
math.
tell me something?
Yeah, I'm using
Right.
my half lesson tests that I go
One-
last.
One that I have?
Yeah, the one that
All right.
that-
Got it right here. All right. It's used. Okay. All right. So here we go. Number 16 then is 0.00065. Number 17 is $3.50. 18 is $1.76. 19 is 36. 20 is 60 square centimeters. 21 is acute. 22 is 12 square centimeters. 23 is 8. 24 is 48 cubic inches. 25 is 55. 26 is 40 centimeters. 27 is 64 square centimeters. 28 is 45 degrees. 29 is 63 inches. And 30 is 999/1,000. Any questions on those?
What was 26?
26 was 40 centimeters, 40. All right. Any other questions? All right. Let me get your grades in. Eric, what'd you get?
26.
Okay, Juliana?
I got a 26, and Mr. Jones, I did a half lesson.
Okay, and you're telling me this because?
Because don't I have to rip the half lesson class in front of you?
I'll look for it and see. Hold on. Yep, I got one. I have a full lesson one. Oh, I have a test pass. I don't see a half lesson pass. You had a full and a test.
I have a half lesson pass.
Oh, okay, go ahead. You can tear it up then. All right, Andre, what'd you get?
I got 28.
Emma? Oh, she's not here. Katie?
I got a 25.
Brianna?
28.
Okay. Everybody look at me. See my nice, pretty, smiling face.
Mr.
Okay.
Jones, I can't see you.
You can't see me either?
I can't see anybody except for.
That's weird. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Because I can see everybody else except you.
Yeah, I know.
I'm not sure why, though. Well, anyway, so I don't need you to actually look at me so much as I need you to listen. Those smoke detectors are so cool, Brianna.
Those aren't smoke detectors.
Oh, what are they?
my lights.
Those are your what? Oh, lights. Okay. They look like smoke detectors. Sorry about that. Okay. Anyway, look at me. Okay. So you guys are doing really great on your homework. At least the grades are showing you're doing great. That also should be reflected in your tests as well. And yet somehow that's not being reflected in your test. Okay. Now, I'm not saying you're cheating. I don't think you could be. Well, I say that. You could be, of course. You could easily just tell me whatever your grade is and it not be really the case. Or you could not be marking everything wrong that's supposed to be marked wrong. I think for the most part, that's not what's happening. However, remember that the test is what's going to reflect pretty much what your grade is. And the test for this quarter, because we're not together, the test for this quarter is actually 70% instead of 60% of your grade. And the homework is only 30% of your grade this time. So make sure if you do have questions about things you don't understand something, please ask, because if you don't really know it, if you don't really learn it well, you're not going to do well on the test, and that's going to kill your grade. So make sure that you do that, okay? Understood? Pretty much? Okay. All right, so let's look at your next lesson, 108. Transformation. Oh, this is always a fun one. There are 3 different types of transformations that we are going to talk about. So you have the first type, which is basically a rotation. Rotation is kind of like spinning it, okay? Like a wheel rotates on an axle. It's spinning, and so that's what you're doing with, like, for instance, the triangles is what they're talking about. By the way, whenever you're talking about in geometry, you're talking about 2 figures that are equal to each other, whether it's lines, whether it's angles, or whether it's an actual figure, like a triangle or a square or a rectangle, anything like that. The word the word they use is not equals. The word they use is congruent. Okay, that's a term for geometry that they use. So if you look there, it says 2 figures are congruent if one figure has the same dimensions as the other figure. Okay, and so those 2 triangles there, ABC and XYZ, are congruent to each other. They're equal in size and length and everything, okay? So that means in order to do something then with it, they have to be the same, obviously, in order for one to fit exactly on top of the other one. So look at the first move that they have here. It says to position triangle ABC on triangle XYZ. We make 3 different kinds of moves. We first rotate. They say turn, I say spin. The triangle ABC 90 degrees counterclockwise. Now a clock, let me see. I'm looking at you guys. So a clock normally runs like this, right? Or is that incorrect?
Yeah.
Okay, it's correct. Okay, I'm just making sure I'm doing it correctly. All right, so counterclockwise would be the opposite direction. The 90 degrees is 1/4 of a circle. 180, 270, 360. Okay, so 90 degrees counterclockwise. That means you're spinning it, and you can see in the direction it has in the book, you're standing it up on end. Now, if you look at it, it's still not, it doesn't match the other triangle still, okay? So next thing you have to do is what's called translation. Translation means basically sliding it over or moving it over. So you translate it over so that the 2 lines, AC and XZ, are both connected to each other, okay? and so that they're on the same line. You can see that they're on the same line. But then you have to do the last move, which is called reflection. And if you think reflection, it's like a mirror, makes it look exactly opposite. I don't know if you guys can see yourself in your device, right?
Yeah.
Okay. When you see yourself, if you put something behind you, you know how it's written backwards. Everything's backwards. Whether it's like I can see my calendar on my picture, and it says LIRPA, instead of LIRPA, LIRPA. It's all written backwards. So it's like a mirror. And so now it doesn't come out that way when it comes out on a video. It just comes out that way just in my picture. But so this says then that's a different type of reflection. So you reflect it so that it flips over on top of the other triangle. And so those are your 3 methods of transformation. Okay. And so what you're going to do on any time you see that type of a problem, like this number 7 on your thing today, you're going to have to write down however many of those things are required in order for you to get it so that it fits exactly on top of the other triangle. Understanding that both triangles are congruent. They are both the same size. Okay? So does that make sense? Does everybody understand? So you're either going to put one of them, like rotation, or 2 of them, rotation and translation, or 3 of them, rotation and translation, and what was the other one?
And translation. No.
Reflection. Yeah, reflection, like a mirror. Okay. So those are your 3. So Katie, you still can't see me, right?
Nope.
All right, let me see if I turn my camera off and turn it back on.
Maybe because you guys are computer.
Are you on a computer, Katie?
Yep.
So am I, and I can see everybody. And Eric, what about you? Are you on a computer?
Yeah, I'm on a computer.
Yeah, he's on, and I can see him. And Andre, you're on a phone, right? And Brianna, you're on a phone, and you're on a tablet. I don't know what it is about the connection, Katie, except that maybe you're farther away from your internet source, and so it's giving a weaker signal, so it makes you last. Let's try this real quick. Everybody turn your cameras off real quick, and then see if Katie's comes up that way. Katie, try to turn yours off and on again and see if that works.
When you turn my camera.
Oh, you guys came back on already. Don't come back on yet.
Gee, I can't turn it off.
Yours off. You were off just a second ago. Now you're back on.
Wait.
So, Katie, has it worked or no?
I can only see you now, Mr. Jones.
Well, at least you can see me. That's important.
I'll just turn my camera off.
Yeah, go ahead and turn your camera off. Eric, can you not turn yours off?
Wait,
You said you're on a computer, right?
yeah.
Move the mouse around, and then you'll see 3 little circles in the middle. You want to hit the one in the middle. All right, and so now, Katie, you can see me okay?
Yep.
You said no or yes?
I said yep.
Oh, good. Okay, now you can see what I'm going to write. All right, so I'm going to draw something. You guys have to tell me what it is.
Wait, do we have to do it on whiteboard?
No, you can just tell me if you want to. All right. So I want you to tell me what transformations you need to do in order to get these 2 triangles to sit on top of each other. Assuming they're congruent, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Translation.
I have to do translation and rotation.
Okay. No?
Translation and reflection.
Yeah, translation and reflection would be the 2. So if you look here, if you slide this one up, then it would sit right here. And then all you have to do is do a reflection to get it to flip over on top of the other triangle. All right. So if you want to turn your cameras on, you can. You don't have to right now. We are going to do language now, though. All right. So here we go. Oh, yeah. For points, wasn't it? Let's check the part that's not for points first. And that would be think B. I think we did the first 4. Yeah. All right. So here we go. For number 5, you should have crossed out us and put we above it. Number 6, she and I should have been crossed out and should put her and me. Number 7, me should be crossed out and put an I above it. 8 is correct. 9, him should be he. 10, we should be us. 11 is correct. 12, us should be we. 13, I should be me. 14, her should be she. 15, me should be I. 16 is correct. And 17, us should be we.
Mr. Jones, what was 13?
13 was I should be me at the end there. Okay. Any other questions on that? All right. So let's go back to think A on the other side. Now, did we the half a point for the correct pronoun? I'm sorry, not half a point. Yeah, half a point for the correct pronoun and half a point for the correct blank. Okay. All right. So I think we did 1 through 4 together. Is that correct, or do we need to do
No, we just did 1.
up through 4? Okay. All right. You said we just did 1.
Yeah.
We did 2 too.
Yeah.
We did 2 also.
Yeah, we did 2.
All right. I think you're right. Okay. So here, number 3 then. All right. So number 3 is I-O in the blank, and we should be crossed out. Number 4, S in the blank, and me should be crossed out. 5, D-O in the blank, and they should be crossed out. 6, S in the blank, and me should be crossed out. 7, D-O in the blank, and she should be crossed out. Number 8, S in the blank, and her should be crossed out. 9, P-N in the blank, and me should be crossed out. 10, I in the blank. I'm sorry, not I-O in the blank, and I should be crossed out. 11, S in the blank, him should be crossed out. 12, D-O in the blank, and we should be crossed out. 13, O-P, and we should be crossed out. 14, D-O, and he. 15, O-P, and I. 16, S, and her. 17, O-P, and we. 18, S, and him. 19, D-O, and we. 20, I-O, and he. 21, O-P, and we. 22, P-N, and him. 23, I-O, and she. 24, O-P, and I. And 25, S, and us.
What was 24?
O-P, and I should be crossed out.
Okay.
All right, so total of 23 points there. So let's see what you guys did. All right, so Eric, what'd you get?
Mine is 8.
All right. Juliana?
Mine is 7. Mine
I'm
is
still
7.
counting up.
I got you, Eric. What's that?
I'm still counting it up.
Oh, okay. Andre?
Mine is 2.
Did you say 0 or 2?
2.
That I still couldn't understand you.
2.
Thank you. Katie?
I missed one.
And Brianna.
Minus 2.5.
Okay. And Julian, did you get yours now?
Yeah, 4.
Thank you. All right. Look at the bottom of page 183. 183. You have, it says on notebook paper, diagram the subjects, verbs, and complements. Now, that means you don't need to, you don't actually need to do the underlining in the sentence. However, I would prefer that you did that. Not that I'm going to check it, and this isn't going to be for points, but I want you to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to assign you the evens only on this, okay? However, we're going to do a couple of the other ones together. So I need you to mark in your books, number 1, I want you to mark the verb first, then ask who or what before it. Okay. So what do we have so far for the subject and verb then? Katie, what do you have?
For the subject and verbs, and number
Yeah.
1, we have mother and reads.
Okay, very good. So there's your subject and verb, mother reads. All right, then you have to ask the question. Mother reads, and since that's an action verb, mother reads what? What does mother read, Eric?
Story.
Okay, so that's your direct object is story. All right, and then mother reads story to whom or for whom? Brianna.
Me and Alyssa.
Very good. Okay, so you guys get the idea then. It's exactly the way you're supposed to do it. And so your diagram then would look something like this. See if you can see if you agree with me on this. All right. So this is what we have. We have the subject, mother, reads, direct object, story. It's straight up line because it's a direct object. Indirect object comes off of the verb. And it's this one. There's 2 of them. So they split off to Alyssa and me. All right. Did that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Then I want you guys to go ahead and, well, let's do number 3 together first. All right. This one's a question. So sometimes to find the subject and verb, it's easier if we go ahead and rewrite it in your mind. But I want you to mark the subject and verb on that one. And then, Juliana, tell me what the subject and verb are there.
Okay. Are is the verb,
Okay.
and twins is the subject.
Very good. All right. So you have twins are. All right. And then what do you have as far as, first of all, what kind of verb is are? Everybody, what kind?
A
What
linking
kind?
verb.
Linking.
Yeah, it's going to be a linking verb because that's what we're doing. We're doing complement, so it's going to definitely be linking. All right. And so linking verbs link the subject to something in the predicate part that repeats the subject as predicate nominative. And so what would that be?
Daniel and he.
Very good. So Daniel and he. I had to change markers here. All right, so it would look like this. This one, it's twins. R is capitalized because that's the first word in the sentence because it's a question, and then Daniel and he. And so that's the way that you would work out each of those sentences. Now, I want you to do number 5 on your own right now. And I want you to mark each part of the sentence with your mark each part of the sentence with the subject, verb, and then ask yourself what kind of verb it is, then whether it's a direct object or indirect object or a predicate nominative in there. Mark everything that needs to be marked. Okay, and then once you've marked everything, I want you to use your whiteboard and I want you to draw yourself a diagram for that sentence. Okay. All right, Andre, do you have the subject and verb already done?
Were we doing number 5?
That's what I said. Yeah, number 5.
Yeah, I do have the subjects and verbs.
Okay, what do you got?
Subject is you and have finished or the verbs.
Very good. Okay. So what kind of verb is that, Eric?
What do you mean with type of what type?
Is it action or linking?
Action.
Okay, so what can come after an action verb?
Do and IO. Direct
Very
object
good.
and
Okay,
indirect
so
object.
so what do you find this one? In order to have an indirect object, you have to have a direct object. So what's the direct object?
Report.
Okay. Is that what he finished? Was the report?
Yeah. Because
So what is for the report called?
A prepositional phrase.
That is correct. It's a prepositional phrase. So that means that can't be the direct object. Direct object cannot be in a prepositional phrase. So what is it that he actually finished then?
book.
Right. So that would be your direct object. That means there is no indirect object because there's no other words there. So this is the way that your diagram should look. Okay.
Okay.
Any questions about that?
No.
All right. So let's do number 7, the same thing. Keep working on it. I'll be right back.
One hour later. 2 hours later. And 5 minutes.
Sorry about that. The recycling person came, but they had come yesterday, and so wanted to talk to them. All right. So did we get an answer so far? So let's see. Juliana, what'd you get as a subject and verb on number 7?
Mrs. Turner bought.
Okay, very good. And so what kind of verb is it?
Action.
Action.
Okay, it's an action verb. So that means we can have direct objects and indirect objects. Of course, you have to have a direct object first. So what would be, if there is a direct object, what is it?
Tickets.
Okay, bought tickets. Very good. All right, and then you ask the question to see if there's an indirect object, for whom or for what or to whom or to what.
Aiden and me.
Aiden and me. Very good. All right, and so all right, so this is what you should have, something like that for the diagram. All right, does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, any questions about how that works? You guys have an idea then of how the best way to approach that is in order to make sure that you don't miss anything. All right, let's look on the next page. Look, it's a looking back. You know what that means, don't you?
Yeah, test.
Yeah, Tess, I think you have a quiz also, don't you? Hold on. Did I give you a language quiz in there? Or am I getting you with
Yeah.
I can't remember when it. Well, let me see when I'm supposed to give it. Oh, it's not until tomorrow. You'll take it tomorrow. So we'll do. Oh no! Wait a minute. It is today. Oh. Oh, okay, okay. That's weird. Gotcha. Okay. All right. Guess what? I'm going to be very nice to you all. And that's all you're going to have for your assignment tonight. Now, Katie? Katie?
Yes.
How many stinking trees did you have that you gave to me with 2 full envelopes and 2 binders, folders full of papers? I'm glad you did it all. That's good. But my goodness, I couldn't believe all that was there. But I'm glad you did it. So it might take me until the end of May to get them all graded, but we'll get them in there, and then you'll get your 3rd quarter grade adjusted. So does it feel good to have it finished?
Yeah.
Did it feel good to have it finished?
Yeah.
Good. Okay. So keep up with your work each day. Now, there's somebody else who had asked me that if I could remind them each day about making sure they get their work done. If anybody wants me to do that at some time, just let me know. I'll be glad to just text you. I mean, it won't be with you won't know who else I'm texting. So if anybody needs me to do that, just text me and let me know, and I'll be glad to remind you about getting your work done. It's always good to have a set time each day to do it. I don't know what time you guys get up in the morning. I'm assuming for most of you, somewhere between 9 and 10. Does that sound about right?
Yeah.
Pretty much?
No.
Brianna, what time do you get up, Andre?
6.
11.
Hey, have you get up at 6 still?
I don't know. I wake up at 6. It's just when I wake up, I can't fall asleep.
Oh, that's your net. Well, that's pretty good. You must go to sleep earlier then.
Mr. Jones,
Yeah, Katie.
you know why I wasn't in class yesterday?
You were asleep?
I overslept until 2 p.m.
Wow.
I used to do that when I was a kid, but only on the weekends because I couldn't do it during school week, of course. Even during the summertime, I didn't want to.
So I didn't know. I went to work really early and then I completely forgot and I overslept.
Do you leave your phone on?
Yeah, I sleep through my alarms. I cannot hear. I'm such a deep sleeper. One time when I was a kid, my parents thought I was dead because I wouldn't wake up.
I've seen kids like that. That is a little bit of a scary thought when you don't know. I think it happened at camp one time. One of the kids actually had fallen asleep and they could not wake him up in the morning. It didn't matter what they did. Finally, they got him to wake up, and it was almost like, he must have been in a really, really deep sleep. So, but in any case, so does that mean that you stay up late at night, Katie, or do you still go to bed at normal time?
I mean, I go to bed at a decent hour.
Decent meaning?
11, 12.
Well, that's, you call that decent. It's really not, but that's still plenty of sleep, yeah.
The type of family we always go to bed late. Like last night, my mom and I were up late watching a movie. So
yeah. No, I understand. Yeah, Andre, you said you were gonna say something?
Yeah. Once I was sleeping, and my mom noticed something that was in my mouth while I was sleeping. I don't know what it was. And she tried to wake me up. She stood me up. And when she stood me up, she took her hands off me and I fell on our TV.
Ow.
But I didn't wake up yet. I was just sleeping on the ground the whole time. I don't know.
Go ahead.
I'm a very deep sleeper.
Well, when I was a kid, my big thing was I would sleepwalk. And when my mom and dad, my brothers and I used to all sleep in the same room, and it wasn't a very big room, but we were small then, but I think I was 12, 13, 14 years old still before I finally got my own room. And when we would get in trouble by talking and playing around when we were supposed to go to bed, my mom and dad would send one of us to their bedroom to sleep, which was not a fun place to go because it was very dark in there and it was always seemed a little scary to me. But one time they came in to bed after they had sent me over there, and I was wearing a pair of my mom's pants, and I had, in that closet was a rifle that my dad kept in there, just leaning up against the wall in the closet. And so they said it scared them half to death, first of all, that I was wearing my mom's pants and realized that I had gone into the closet to get them and put them on. I have no idea why. My mom and dad would watch TV and I would be in bed and I'd fall asleep and I'd come out and walk, and on the TVs, you had to change the channel like with your hand. And I'd go in there and I'd stand right in front of the television while they're watching, and I'd turn it so that it was just showing you guys don't know what it is, but it's called Snow. It was just a channel where it didn't show anything. There was no signal on it.
Oh, it's like
So it was
sad.
blank. Has anybody ever seen that before?
Yeah.
I
My
did.
Yeah.
dad used to have an old TV like that.
Okay, yeah. And so that's what I would turn it to, and I would just stand there and watch it while I was asleep, which they said was really creepy. But I was a big sleepwalker and a big talker in my sleep as well.
I remember one time, so like in the apartments when we still lived there, when I fell asleep,